to write for Beyonce. But like I was saying, it was never that Keri was a big fan of Beyonce because she would say shady stuff, right? Hold on, let me put me on the screen. So I'm going to play this interview, and this was regarding Love in This Club Part 2. Now, the beginning, it was okay, but then you kind of move into later on in the conversation, and mind you, it's only a minute, and I caught a shady part that she put in there. So let's go ahead and listen to it right now.
They ended up putting Beyonce on it, and I wasn't mad. You know, she wanted to be like the king and queen thing. It was cool. I got my publishing on, and yeah, let's get it.
So what she's really saying is she got her dough.
It's right. So yeah, I'm never mad as long as that happens.
Right. And
Love in This Club remix.
from what I'm hearing is the money in this business is in publishing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Performers can get it. If you're a touring artist and you get to that status, but before then, woo-hoo, it's paying off debt. it's tough. It's tough for artists. So, you know, I'm doing this for fun, really. You know, the writing thing has been done very well for me.
Wonderful. Now, Keri, I have to ask you this. When you wrote the verse for Love in This Club, we hear Beyonce singing now.
Yeah.
When you wrote it, did she sing it like you sang it, or did she change it up?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. You are crazy. It pretty much is the same.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's the same, except it sounds like Beyonce. Yeah. You know, she doesn't write everything she touches.
I know, Neil.
Yeah.
Miraculous.
Mario, I told you it was a diss.
Tiba.
See, right there, she said, yeah, she don't write everything she touches. Yeah, it was that little shade part right there. Because you didn't need to say that, Keri. You got paid, you got your money, you said you got your publishing, should have just left it there. And then the part about, oh, did she change it or did she sing it? No, she sang it the same way. It just sounds like Beyonce. Again, I wanted to go ahead and pull up some more evidence because there is a video. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen it before, but they asked her to hold up this magazine and it had Jay-Z Beyonce on the front of it. And she totally was like, no. Let me go ahead and show you guys right now. Because again, I do believe Keri has, made amends and did what she was supposed to do. However, I don't like how she's totally turning it on like, oh, these people did X, Y, and Z to me. And possibly, just like Zinga said, I do believe that Polo Da Don probably was all like, no, you got to write this. You got to write this. But I still feel like Keri kind of fed into it with the stuff that she had been saying for years, right? So let's go ahead and pull this up. It says, while interviewing celebs at the 2011 Soul Train Music Awards, we asked them to kindly hold the November issue of Juicy magazine and give a drop. That's the magazine with Jay-Z and Beyonce. As you can see, Beyonce and Jay-Z are on the cover. What happens when we ask Keri Hilson to hold?
You want to hold the magazine? Just shout out Juicy Mac. You want to hold the magazine? Just shout out Juicy Mac.
Oh.
You want to hold the magazine? Just shout out Juicy Mac.
Oh, I can't tell. I won't tell.
She said, no, I can't do that. Sorry. So, Keri, if there was no issue, nothing happened, why didn't you want to hold up that magazine cover with Jay-Z and Beyonce on it? I just got some questions. Why didn't you want to hold up that magazine cover? That would have been easy for you just to hold up that magazine cover and just be like, shout out to Juicy Magazine. She said, who is that? Oh, no, I can't do that. Let me play it one more time because the video is very quick, you guys. Let me play it one more time. Hold on. Let's go back. Let's take it back.
You want to hold the magazine? Just shout out Juicy Mac.
No, I can't do that. Sorry.
You want to hold the magazine? Just shout out Juicy Mac.
Oh.
You want to hold the magazine? Just shout out Juicy Mac.
I can't tell. I won't tell.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's your girl, Miss Kathleen Baby. Be checking out Juicy Magazine. Peace.
So she did end up doing a drop for him, you know, giving them a shout out and everything like that. But I think she would have it just would have been easier for her to hold up the magazine. Let me see what you guys saying. I wouldn't hold it either. Oh, damn. Okay. Keri took accountability. But why would they ask her to hold it? She was kind of put into a damn if you don't situation. Okay. Keri wasn't lying, though. Wait, who said no free promo? No free promo, ho. Shout out to Jay. Keri took accountability for holding the... Oh, she did? Oh, I didn't hear this. Okay, she did. What did she say, Joshua? Did she say she was sorry for not holding... Because it would have been easy for her to say, hey, shout out to Juicy Magazine, blah, 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 and then just walk off. I don't know why she didn't hold it. What's up, Mary? Damn, a lot of y'all said y'all wouldn't do it either. But all those other celebrities held it. It was like Amber Rose, questionable. Who were the Hold on, here we go. Amber Rose, Lance Gross, Anthony Hamilton. Again, question: why would y'all have a problem with holding up the magazine? Maybe I'm not, because my thing is like, if it's no beef, what's the problem with holding up the magazine? You know, I think it would have just been easier. They explained it in the oh, it was in there. Okay. And they look dumb holding it. Yo! You said and they look dumb holding it. Dang, so you wouldn't have held up the magazine either. Okay. Yeah, for me, I just feel like it would have just been easier for her just to hold up the magazine. Just be all like, all right, let me do my part and just smile and cheese. But she didn't want to do that. Okay, hold on, y'all. Okay, you said it was in that Breakfast Club interview. And again, I've only heard certain parts of it, like clips. I haven't listened to the whole thing, so I stand corrected. Let me see if I can talk. So they have this AI tool. Let me see. The Breakfast Club. Keri. Where I can just try to find a time. Okay.
And it did happen. I lost passion for quite a while. It was
And
really
again, I don't want them to strike me, so I can't show you guys the video. Let me do it this way. And while we wait for me to pull this up, and shout out to Joshua, thank you for mentioning this. While I pull this up, let's go ahead and do a little promo real quick. Make sure you guys follow She Paints over on Facebook. I know a lot of you guys have been wondering, who is She Paints? Where did she come from? Well, she is a Jill of all trades. She's literally an artist, a painter, a travel vlogger. Get to know She Paints on Facebook. She's actually going to Europe. You get to see London, Paris, Amsterdam, the world through her eyes. Have you ever been afraid to travel the world and been like, oh, I don't know how this is? Well, you have your opportunity to see how it is through the eyes of She Paints. Make sure you guys follow her on Facebook right now because you don't want to miss her journey through Europe. You are going to be in for a treat. I promise you that. Okay, we're going to start at the 31-minute mark. That's what the AI tool let me know. That's when she starts talking about Beyonce and everything. 31.
Fan, like, have always been. That's never been in question for me. But now it's a name I can't say. It's a magazine I can't hold. It's a conversation I don't want to have publicly just because I don't want
it back. Okay, I'm sorry.
Put my career further in the recognition, the song. Okay, we had a lot of spins, but from that moment on, I was like, this ain't even my path anymore. Now I gotta ride out.
What did Timbaland say?
I think he just went because they were partners. I think he just went along, but I don't remember that we involved him or that he was involved at all because he hadn't produced that record. But I wonder now. I would love to ask him, like, what did you think about that? What I do know is he went on to work with B and J,
so did Polo
and tour with him, and so did Polo. And they're like, wow. But again, I was trying to keep peace. And also not wanting to put my career, they were still my bosses. I didn't want to put my career further into detriment. So I just didn't want to step in the shit anymore though. So I didn't want to hold no magazine with her on I just froze. I just was like shook. So whenever anybody brought it up, probably the last time we were here, like, please don't bring up Beyonce. It was probably that kind of environment because I was shook. I was scared. I was not of her. Like, I love her. I think she's incredible. She's one of the greatest artists of all time.
Okay. I like that she did take accountability for it. Again, thank you, Joshua, for bringing that up. So it seemed like basically she didn't want any parts of Beyonce as far as like, I don't want to keep this beef going. I don't even want to mention her name, hold up any magazines. I just want to let it go. So I totally get where she's coming from with this. Again, I still feel like it was a little shady when she didn't hold up the magazine. She said, oh, no, I can't do that. I just think it would have been better for her to hold. I still think, what's up, Belinda? Shout out to you. Oh, my God. One of the OGs that I know for a long time. Thank you for being here. But I think it just would have been easier for her just to hold up the magazine. That's what I honestly feel. Let's go ahead and do a poll real quick. Let's do a 30-second countdown. Do you think that Keri Hilson should have just held up the magazine? Yes or no? Let's go. Yeah, I would have held up the magazine, but a lot of y'all are saying no. Okay, at least Mary is on my side. Maggot the Lion Dodo is on my side. Kiss the Ring. Because if there's no issue, okay, so for example, say if there was like a magazine cover with Tasha K on it, right? And they'd be like, hey, can you hold up the magazine and give us a shout out? I'll be all like, oh, who's on the cover? Oh, Tasha. Okay, let me hold it. I don't have any issues with Tasha. If there's no issue, then I'm going to hold up the magazine. Now, say if they put maybe like a YouTuber I don't necessarily like on a magazine, would I hold that up? No, I would hold that shit up. I ain't gonna lie. If it's somebody I don't like on the cover, for me personally, if I don't like the person, I'm not holding it up. But I'm not no hater. If there's somebody on the cover, I'm gonna hold it up. That's just me, you know? But I appreciate y'all having a difference of opinion. I always respect that. And shout out to Shadi real quick. Would you hold up a picture with someone you necessarily don't hate, but it's someone you put behind you? It's funny how I started talking about that, and then I didn't even read your question first. And thank you for the donation, by the way. If I don't like the person, no. If they're behind me, then, you know, like I put it in the past or whatever, I would hold up the magazine. Like, for example, if it was somebody like Wiley on the cover, right? I necessarily don't hate Wiley. I would hold up the magazine cover. I would. I would have no issue holding up that magazine cover. Because again, it's behind you, it's in the past. But if it's someone who I don't like, I'm not holding up the magazine cover. I'm not. And that's kind of how I felt with Keri. Like, she didn't want to hold up the magazine cover because she felt a certain kind of way. Because she was like, I'm not doing that. No. Like, even her mood, her face totally changed. She was like, who is it? And she said, oh, no, I ain't doing that. No. Her face changed. Keri has the natural looks that Beyonce has cultivated. I won't lie, I'd be a bit salty if my career was shelved too. Ashanti, Maya, Blue, Blue Cottrell, yep, Keri, A. Marie. You know, I do feel like some of the girls feel a certain kind of way, but again, I'd still go with, you have to take some of the accountability for yourself. I totally get, like, okay, I wouldn't want to feed into the mess, right? But you not doing it made it look worse. You actually doing it, that would have been like, oh, see, Keri Hilson don't care nothing. Because again, somebody like me, I was able to run with the narrative like, well, you always had a problem with Beyonce. You had an issue because you didn't want to hold up that magazine cover. And that's why I like how we can have a difference of opinion, because some of y'all say like, oh, no, I don't feel that way. I wouldn't hold up the magazine cover either. So I see that. Look what happened to her career. Sometimes you have to stand your ground. Yeah. And this is something that she did. Well, she stood her ground when she didn't want to hold up the magazine cover, but you should have stood your ground when you did the diss track. That's when she should have stood her ground. No, I would have held it up because I'm petty, just like right. Sometimes you gotta be a little petty. Which way would you look? Well, that's the thing. What's up, Miss Barbara? She shouldn't have looked any kind of way. She should have just held up the magazine and just said, hey, shout out to Juicy Magazine, smiled, and walk away. It would have been something in the past. Her doing that, I can't do that. It made it a thing. The industry very much only wanted one main black pop girl. That's true. Rihanna was the only, I can read it here, was the only one able to thrive because she was under Roc Nation. True. And we know it's still that way. They only want one black girl. It can't be multiple of them. They all have to be in competition with each other. I think now it's getting better with independent artists. A lot of independent artists are able to make moves and make their way. So hold up the magazine and roll your eyes. Yeah, she could have just did that, right? Held up the magazine and rolled her eyes. But I would have held the magazine just so that there wouldn't be any beef. Sleepy Panda says, stop trying to spin a narrative. If you did your research and understood how much flack Keri received at that time, it made no sense for her to hold that magazine. They were being messy. I don't think they were being messy. They asked multiple celebrities to hold up the magazine. Now, maybe her publicist, this is where I'll give you credit. Her publicist should have said, hey, don't ask her no shit about Beyonce. Do not have her hold up that magazine, blah, blah, blah. Because, you know, when you're going through the red carpet, they have somebody kind of guiding you through and telling you who to speak to and stuff like that. So, again, and that was in 2011. This whole diss track was in 2008, 2009. So, in 2011, if there was no issue, no beef, you should have already got over whatever you had. Because I think her second album came out in 2011. Keri Hilson did come out with 2 albums, you guys. Let me see. Keri Hilson, second album. 2010. I stand corrected. No Boys Allowed, 2010. December 21st, 2010. So the Soul Train Awards was in 2011. So yeah, any beef or any issue she had, she should have got over that. You know, she should have got over that. She was already getting bullied by crazy fans. Yeah, the Beehive, yeah, they are crazy. Now, I will say that that is true. Even when I have something negative to say about Beyonce and it's taken negatively, they be in the turn like, you don't know what you're talking about, you fat ass mom. They be going off. Hold up the magazine and hide the faces. Oh yeah, she could have put her hand in front of it, right, Trevor? She could have put her hand in front of the faces and held up the magazine. Well, no, that wouldn't have worked. That would have been shady too. You know, that would have been shady too. Never mind. Let me take that off. She was already getting bullied by the crazy fans, so I feel like she did the right thing, disassociate. Okay. And again, like I said, I appreciate that not everybody got the same opinion. Like I like that y'all challenge me because y'all are making me see it a different way. That's why I wanted to do this live instead of a pre-recorded video. Now that's extra messy, right? She was already getting the Beehive backlash during that time with her holding the magazine. Yeah, see, I just feel like she should have held up that magazine. I think it would have changed the trajectory. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe she still would have got shaded and stuff like that. But I feel like if she would have held up the magazine, this wouldn't even have been a conversation. That would have been a moment where you see, oh, you know, Keri does appreciate. And, you know, later on in the years, Keri Hilson does talk about how she loves Beyonce. She was a fan of Beyonce. They even spoke recently and squashed whatever was going on. She said she had a pleasant conversation with Beyonce. So again, a lot of that stuff has been squashed. It's already in the past. But I just feel like there's little things that she could have done previously that would have softened the blow for her. You know? Wait. This topic is silly though. Reminds me of Sheree asking the ladies if they eaten bot. I don't know. I don't remember anything about that. Wow, did she ask that? Them housewives, yeah, they ridiculous. So I wouldn't be surprised. I want Beyonce type of fans too to buy all my shit. Yeah, they will spend money. They will spend money. I agree that Keri should have refused the song and held up the cover. Yeah. And again, Polo Da Don hasn't said anything. It's funny because the two women are speaking out, but the man ain't saying shit. Like, my name has been in and I ain't in it. Because I'm pretty sure his story is gonna be like, nah, Keri was cool with this. She agreed to this. You know, it was just kind of like that clip that has been going viral where she said, oh, it was leaked. You know, she did say during the Breakfast Club that that they did different versions, but Polo had put that one out. You know, he put it out within a couple of days of them doing it. He put out that version, but she had wrote different versions to the remix. But he used that one talking about move it to the left. So is that my left, y'all? I know it looks reversed on the other side, but to the left. Yeah. True. What she said now doesn't match what she did in the video. Right. And here's the thing too. I don't think Beyonce, this whole beef thing necessarily stopped her career. I honestly feel that Keri Hilson probably got the short end of the stick when it comes to like Polo Da Don and Timberland. Because remember, there's an artist by the name of, what's her name? It's not her artist name is not Tiny. It's Teeny. Timberland had this artist that starts with a T, and she was I even forgot about her. She was very talented. She was under his management and everything like that, but none of her music ever came out. I think she did like an EP or something like that, but she never put out an album or anything. And she was Tink. Thank you, Karma. Tink. That's what her name was. Tink. Where's Tink right now? Karma, where Tink at? I don't see Tink nowhere. And she was really talented too. And I know she ended up going independent as well. So I think Keri Hilson more suffered from shitty management and not necessarily Beyonce had anything to do with destroying her career. But before we get out of here, let me ask y'all the last question. Let's do another countdown. Shut up, it's my show. We do countdowns over here. Do you think Beyonce stopped Keri Hilson's career? I like this answer from GGR. I think not her directly. I think because that Matthew Knowles, her daddy, right? I know. Listen, I don't want to say too much about people's parents and stuff because you know that's what got me in trouble a few months ago. You're talking about this, but I got to talk about Matthew Knowles. Matthew Knowles. If he was still her manager during that time, I know he probably, held his foot down and was all like, yo, we need to make sure that Beyonce's number one, just like he talked about how he pushed Beyonce in the front with Destiny's Child. She was light-skinned and all this other stuff, and how he praised Beyonce and the other girls kind of got held back, really. Kelly Rowland, Matthew Knowles was also Kelly Rowland's manager too, and she ended up firing him. Previous then, the two original members, Latavia and Latoya Luckett, remember they left because of the management, because of Matthew. So again, Matthew always propped up Beyonce. And so I'm pretty sure Matthew was probably in the background making sure that Beyonce was the only one. He was very tough, right? Possible. Very possible. I don't think Beyonce goes around saying like, no, it can't be no other black. I don't think Beyonce says that. I think record label and also the management, record label, the people on her team are the people that stop other people's careers. I don't think her directly. No. Beyonce don't even you don't know what Beyonce thinks. She barely does interviews or speak out. You don't know what she really thinks. Would Beyonce ever do a tell-all or anything? Nah, they like living their life private. That's how they are. That's how it is. Story is all this time, right? Ting just put out and see, Zinga, I didn't hear it. That's the thing, I didn't hear it. All that time she spent with Timberland, he really did a number on her because, again, it's 11/11, make a wish. But he really did a number on her, though, because, again, we haven't heard her music. I gotta go look at her discography. That's what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to listen to Tink. All right, y'all, but let me know what you guys think about this whole video. Do you think Keri Hilson always had it out for Beyonce, or was she forced and then felt uncomfortable whenever people mention Beyonce? Let me know, Replay Crew. I appreciate y'all being here. Please subscribe to the channel. Please hit that like button before y'all leave. But we out of here. Deuces, everybody.